Hey, this is Mark Roberts.
Hey, Mark Roberts.
This is Let's Get Into Entertainment.
The business of entertainment.
Is it weird that it's called the Let's Get Into Entertainment rather than Let's Get Into It? What's the difference, really?
Well, I mean, getting into it is it. Now we're just being more specific. Entertainment.
Well,
because you could say, let's get into it, and you're drinking tequila, so we could be like, let's get into reposado.
Right. Well, today we're going to get into the business of entertainment with Larry Omaha. Larry Omaha is a stand-up comedian. He's worked on numerous shows, HBO, Cinemax. He's been touring with Fluffy. You know Fluffy?
Yeah, I know Fluffy.
Gabriel Iglesias from the hit show Mr. Iglesias. So he's going to be here today. We're going to talk to him a little bit about, I don't know how he got started. His name, Omaha, by the way, he was raised in Omaha, which is kind of crazy. So I don't know how he got a name like Omaha.
Kind of like Michael Corleone, right? From the town of Corleone.
Is that true?
Yeah, I mean, that's in the movie.
Oh, I know. You have to do some research to figure it out, though. I mean, you can't just watch the movie and go like, oh, that guy's from the town of Corleone. Do you? Did you just know that?
I'm sure he'll tell us.
Come on, foo. Yes.
All right. I don't know. Anyway, we'll talk to Larry Omaha about that. And I also want to talk about, can you be an executive producer or a creator in this town and be a nice person?
I think you absolutely, you got to take some lumps. You're going to take some lumps from some bad people. But I actually think you the ones who rise to the top are.
Hold that thought. We'll be right back with Let's Get Into Entertainment. Hang on. Welcome back to Let's Get Into Entertainment.
I'm going to cut you off right now because I want to congratulate you, my friend. You understand me?
Tell me about
this. This is the only time he'll let you cut him off.
Fucking
what are you going to congratulate me with?
I read on IMDb that Ashley Garcia for 2020 was the number 2 comedy on Netflix.
Ooh. According to IMDb?
What is this news to you?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Come on, man.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
I'm busy working, dude. I'm not looking at the news reports about shows that I work on.
Number 2 comedy on all Netflix.
It certainly seems like we should be back then.
It absolutely should be back. Yeah.
Well, I hope we do make it back. But that's great news. Thank you for telling me, and I appreciate the love.
Can it be picked up again?
Anything can happen.
Oh,
I think Rod, who's Rod? I think Tootie always makes a good point of this, is saying that anything can happen. Right?
Anything.
You can get canceled. You can come back. You can be on a different network.
True.
You can be bought. You can be, so lots of things can happen. But I think, look,
you can back up over there.
It's a really unique show, an important show, and I think it'd be kind of fun to have it show up somewhere else, or have Netflix reconsider. They are a very progressive company, so they certainly can sit in an office and go like, oh, well, maybe we made a mistake. Let's bring it back. They're not against course correcting.
But the best thing about this, Roberts, is now you have a little bit of a relationship with Netflix. You personally.
Yeah.
Mark Roberts.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Which is nice.
I'm a big fan of Netflix, of Rodrigo over in the Latino department. He's actually involved in all kinds of stuff, not just Latino stuff, but he happens to be Latino and love it.
What about like Amazon? You have a relationship there or not?
I don't have a relationship at Amazon, but I do have a in at Amazon, so I am pitching them tomorrow.
Are they the equivalent? Because, I'm not going to lie. I never do. I like Amazon, like when I go to watch movies, it's a bigger selection. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I can get more.
There's a lot of good products.
It's like Amazon's like Costco, and then Netflix is like Gelson's.
Hey, have you guys seen the Queen's Gambit?
Oh, that's my fave, man.
Dude, it was so great. It was so good. I mean, I want to be really specific about what I'm going to say about this, because I watched it and I loved it. And I think what I really appreciated about it is that it was great on all levels, from the direction to the vision of the directors, of the director, the vision of the combination of effects and music and acting. And, it took a big mind and a great leadership to make that. And I think I appreciate it. Every moment of it, I was like, the wardrobe's amazing.
Netflix?
The setting is amazing. The art design is amazing.
You know what hooked me was cinematography.
Yeah. Every last little bit of it was just remarkable. So I would highly recommend. I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but I'm going to tell you that the girl that stars in it is remarkable. She's Latina.
Anya.
Yes. But yeah, remarkable, excellent. All right, let's bring in Larry Omaha. Comedian.
Oh, you messed up the wig. The wig was looking all tight when I got here.
I remember my first podcast.
You remember
Sorry
your
about
first
that. Now, Larry Omaha's an amazing comedian. He's been in Stand Up Revolution with Gabriel Iglesias, Comic Unleashed. He's been on Showtime, HBO, Cinemax, all kinds of stuff. But mainly, he seems to have toured with Gabriel Iglesias. You know Fluffy.
Yeah, of course I know Fluffy.
Where do you know Fluffy from?
Fluffy, he lived in Chula Vista for a minute.
Is that true?
Yeah, he did. That's
Oh,
what
no
him and
kidding.
Lopez.
And Riverside.
Did he live in Riverside too? Yeah, he's
Holy
funny. You know what
mackerel.
I like about Fluffy too is his comedy is really clean. So you could watch it with kids and stuff. But
True.
he's a funny dude.
I got $10 that Larry Omaha does not have clean
I
comedy.
guarantee you Larry Omaha has clean comedy.
Hey, let's bring him in. Larry Omaha, welcome to the show, bud.
What's up, bud?
Hey, thank you.
Thanks for being here. First thing I want to ask you is you grew up in Omaha and your name's Omaha. How'd that happen?
And people always ask me that, and I always tell them that my great grandfather discovered Omaha. You probably heard of him. His name is Mutual of Omaha.
That's good.
I like him.
I wanted a name that was easy and to recognize and remember. Like John Denver, Whitney Houston, Joe Montana, Julie London.
Engelbert Humperdinck.
No,
No, not that name.
What's
not
the
that
real
name.
last name, Larry?
Steaks.
Barrientos.
Barrientos?
Barrientos, yeah.
Nice.
Wait, are you Latino?
I'm part. My dad was from Mexico.
Yeah.
No
What do you
kidding.
mean he's Latino? Can't you tell? I can tell Larry's Latino.
I can tell. I was thinking maybe Irish or something.
Oh, so
On
stupid.
my mother's side, native.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
But I'm mistaken for, honestly, I get no acting roles for Latinos. I get all acting roles for Asians.
Really?
I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy.
You could play anything, but so tell me a little bit about how you got into comedy.
I wasn't a class clown. I was a class idiot. So when I went to college, I was fortunate enough to go to college, and I took speech classes. My first speech, I got a lot of laughs, and the teacher says, no, that's not a speech. That's stand-up comedy. So she planted the seed. And from that point on, I started keeping journals of joke ideas. I ended up going to law school. In law school, I'm sitting there, look down at my notes and realize everything I'd written down were jokes about the professor. I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be a comedian. So I quit law school. I worked for a couple of years, saved all my money, and then moved to Hollywood and began the journey. It was just in my blood. And I didn't know how tough it was going to be,
Yeah.
but if I had known, I still would have done it anyway.
So when you moved to Hollywood, what was like your next step? Did you go directly? Well, first of all, did you have an act?
I had an act because while I was in Nebraska, I was performing every Sunday night at a bar specifically doing comedy on Sunday nights. So myself and several others got started doing that Sunday night in Omaha, Nebraska. And I had about 15 good minutes developed after about a year. And I was just anxious to go. So I said, I'm going to Hollywood.
Why Hollywood over like New York? Because you're
New York, to me, Hollywood is where the Comedy Store was, the Improv was, and the Johnny Carson show was.
okay. All right.
And I felt like, and I always wanted to move to California. I used to dream of moving to California. So that was it, naturally. But my first time, like so many comics, my first time going on stage at the Comedy Store, I bombed, and it was painful. And I'm walking back to my car at 1 a.m. and go, oh, hell, what did I do? And so I didn't go on stage for about 2 more weeks. I was just licking my wounds. And but I got back up. I got laughs, and I realized, okay, that's just something you got to experience. Every comic has gone through that.
Yeah. Did you think it was your best stuff when you bombed?
No, I just thought I was just totally confused. But I didn't realize that going on at the Comedy Store at 1:15 in the morning was death, no matter who you were.
Right.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
didn't know that. I was naive.
Who were some of your inspirations as you were getting into the comedy?
Lots of inspirations. Richard Pryor, who I was fortunate to meet at the Comedy Store, George Carlin, and of course Bill Cosby. Those three were the main. Mainly Richard Pryor. But I had all his stuff. Always listened to his stuff.
You know, a lot of times when you're inspired by a comedian, you tend to do them, right? So, when you go to the restroom and you got that shit.
That's not bad, Roberts. That wasn't bad.
Even Richard Pryor admits he borrowed from Bill Cosby. You know,
He
we
was the
all,
best.
wow.
He was the
you know,
best.
all borrow a little bit at first because we don't know any better.
You know, certain comedians, you think like they never have a bad night. You know, like you see someone like Bill Cosby, or you see someone like Jerry Seinfeld. You know, you're like, those guys go up and like literally every time you see them, they're killing. Is that true, or does everyone have a bad night in comedy?
Well, in the early years, everybody has bad nights. Once you're really good and you're really confident, you're a good writer, you might have an off night, but not a bad night.
Yeah.
Jerry would even admit, yeah, he has bad nights every now and then when his new stuff doesn't work. It's not a big deal though, because we know we're good.
Yeah, you got to try out new stuff. Can you give us a little bit of your act right now? A little bit of your good stuff. Come on, bring it.
Well, one of the ways I always start off my act is I always say that my mother's Yaqui Indian, my father's Zapotec Indian, and because of that mixture of cultures, I stand here tonight looking like Jackie Chan. Everywhere I go, I get mistaken for belonging to another cultural group. When I worked in Alaska, they treated me like family, as if I was a long lost brother. And after looking around, I understood. I'm pretty sure Eskimos are just freeze-dried Navajos.
That's good stuff. And so how did you meet Fluffy? How did you meet Gabriel Iglesias?
I was running a one-nighter in East Los Angeles many years ago. And in walks Fluffy, Gabriel Iglesias, and he goes, "Hey, Larry, I want to be a comedian. Is there any chance I can go up on stage?" I go, "Sure, absolutely. I'll put you third on the list. You go up and do 5 minutes." He goes up, does 5 minutes. He's funny. Yeah. Fluffy was born to be a comic. He was funny right from day one. Unlike a lot of us, it took us a year or two to really get funny.
Right.
And so then he came back whenever I told you, come back whenever you want. I'll give you stage time. So he becomes a star real fast. Like in a matter of 2 years, he's headlining all around the country.
Wow.
And one day I bump into him at another club in Los Angeles. He goes, "Larry, haven't seen you for so long." I go, "Yeah, man, I hear good things about you." He goes, "You want to go on the road with me?" I go, "Let's go."
Wow.
So,
nice.
Next thing I know, we're touring Europe, we're touring Saudi Arabia, and we're performing for the king and queen of Jordan in Amman, Jordan.
Wow.
And after the show, we go party with the king and queen in their palace.
Oh man, what kind of drinks were those? What were they serving? Come on,
Casa Mexico.
Casa Mexico tequila. What was it?
They are Muslim, so they couldn't drink. Only we could drink.
Yeah, but you know what? That pays, Roberts. See, pays to be nice to people.
Yeah.
See, Larry was nice to Fluffy, and then Fluffy took him later on. They went and cruised the world. That's pretty nice. You gotta be nice.
I'm waiting for the day. I'm waiting for the day that you say to me, "Hey, come on, let's go. You want to go do a movie with me? Let's go on tour."
That's
together.
gonna happen. I guarantee you.
I heard you guys aren't that nice, though, but
I'm nice.
We'll talk about that later.
Nice.
Come on.
I'm just kidding.
He likes to say I'm brutally honest. Take it easy.
I read I read somewhere that you were a shoe shine boy. Is that true?
Oh yeah, I've been working since I was 8 years old, man. And I talk about that in my act. You know, I talk about how cheap. I learned a lot about people. Bankers are cheap. They never tip. I would shine their shoes. They never tip. Not even a nickel. The most generous tippers, prostitutes.
I bet.
I would shine the shoes of this one prostitute once a week. 25 cents a shine. She'd give me $1 tip. And I told my dad about this generous woman. I didn't know she was a prostitute. I go, "She's so generous. She gives me $1 tip every week." He goes, "Oh, that's Maria. Everybody knows her." I go, "What?" He goes, "She's a lady of the evening." I go, "What's that?" He says, "It's like a comedian. She gets paid to make men happy." I go, "Wow." I said, "When I grow up, I want to be a lady of the evening."
And there you are.
I was shoe shine boy. I did everything. I was a painter. I was a welder. I was everything.
And at what age? I love to ask everyone this question. At what age did you know that comedy was going to be for you?
Probably in college, in my 20s.
Okay.
I knew when I got out of college, I knew I was going to do something with comedy. I didn't know I was going to have a great comedy career, stand-up career.
Yeah.
But it was it was there. I knew somehow, some way. I wrote jokes for a lot of comics in the early years, sold jokes, $25 a joke here and there, But the real dream was to be have great shows on stage with my own stuff, So in my mid 20s, I moved to LA at age 30. I started late.
Yeah.
All these comics today are starting when they're 15 and 16.
Right.
Dave Chappelle started when he was 14.
Yeah.
Wow, did he really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, the greats all started.
Well, there's so many avenues now that you can go on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You could go name it: TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. You could start your own act at any age, anywhere, and get out there.
At the end of the day, you have to be funny.
Yeah,
you got to be funny. And one of the drawbacks to social media is a lot of young comics are really good on social media, but they're not good joke writers.
Yeah.
So they can pull an audience to a location, but then they can't deliver the goods.
True.
That's even with the acting. There's a lot of, they thought because of the, Vine, remember the Vine?
Vine? Exactly.
Yeah, they thought that these people who do these Vine things were going to be these great actors. They have this big following, and then they give them a script that they didn't write, and they tell them to act, and they can't pull it off because they're not actors.
Mm-hmm.
They're good at their little niche. They're 15-second,
after 64 takes, and then
and they're like, but hey, they're making money hand over fist, so what do they care?
What do you think? What do you think about Eddie Murphy coming back? You think he's going to be funny?
Oh, I hope he comes back, because I saw him on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee.
Yeah, me too. And
he was sharp. He was funny.
Comedians can be really rough on each other. I love when comedians get together and have a good time, because when they do, it's magic. But yeah, that particular show when Eddie Murphy was on, that was cool. And I think Netflix, someone paid him a bunch of money. He's coming back.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's coming back.
Yeah, he'll be back.
What's next for you, Larry?
I forgot I was supposed to do this podcast today because I had 2 auditions today, and I was working on them like crazy. And then all of a sudden, I get a notification on my phone, podcast in 15 minutes. I go, what? So I'm over here. I'm editing my video audition, and and like 4:05, I got them both sent off.
Oh, good.
Let me ask you something, Larry. Are those auditions by anybody from Peru by chance? Because if it is, you're gonna get the job.
Why Peru?
We're the number one podcast in Peru.
We're the number one podcast in Peru. The lost civilization. There's no one there anymore.
Llamas.
Thanks a lot.
I'm doing a lot of acting these days.
Good
auditions. I was in a nice commercial just before November 3rd. It was a go out and vote commercial. And got a lot of play on that. Everybody saw me all around the country. So that was kind of cool.
That's awesome.
I did a movie on, I love to talk about it because it's so funny. I did a movie on Cinemax. You know what Cinemax is, right?
No.
Softcore porno channel.
Oh yeah,
good
Skinemax.
Good for you. Good for you.
But I was the only one in the movie who kept his clothes on.
Oh. I bet you paid well.
I talk about that in my act too. I go, I auditioned for this director. He goes, Larry, I loved your audition. I'm going to put you in a movie, The Erotic Traveler. I go, oh, great. Which actress do I get to do a love scene with? He says, everyone in the movie gets laid except you. You're going to be the Navajo shaman, the spiritual conjure.
That's hilarious. So how is the pandemic affecting your work as a comedian? Is it being affected?
I am very little work. My first live show in 7 months was last week. I flew up to Montana. I did a show for a tribe up there, and we had a lot of social distancing. I go, you guys got to really keep it clean. You got to spray the microphone before I go up, everything. And they did all that. They touched all the bases, so it was very safe. And it was fun to perform again and get the live laughs and get the big check. But what really bothers me about the pandemic is I live alone. So I'm just begging. I want a Jehovah's Witness to knock at my door. I will bring her in, make coffee.
Tell me all about it. Yeah.
Tell her your new act. That'd be great.
Try out your new material. I wanted to ask you one more thing. So what can you leave stand-up? Look, being a stand-up comic 20 years ago and getting started then, or 30 years ago, is different than getting started today. You have any advice for young comics that want to get out there and do their thing?
There is no shortcut in my mind. You have to get on stage. I don't care how good you are at social media. You have to get on stage in front of live people and try those jokes out every night if you can.
Yeah. Because
that's what I did. I got on stage every night, 3 different stages every night. My first 2 years, I was an animal.
Yeah.
And it helped me a lot. I was very disciplined. I write every day. Some comics don't write. They just think up stuff. Like Fluffy doesn't write. He's got 6 or 7 hours of comedy up here.
Wow.
That's a lot.
He's an incredible individual. I write all the time. I only got room for about 2 or 3 sentences.
Right.
And I have to put everything in books.
And you share those with other comedians.
No, I don't share them. That's my stuff. Those are my jokes.
Hey, I don't want to leave you without talking to you about Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about that.
That was a surprise. I answered an ad. I saw an ad for a voiceover job. So I show up, and the casting agent is a young casting agent, about 30 years old, really nice woman. She goes, "Larry, I loved your voice. I'm going to hire you for this Mortal Kombat role. You're going to be Nightwolf." I go, "Okay." I didn't know what it was. I'm not into video games. She goes, yeah. And she goes, "I'm going to get you so much work." And because she had been looking for a native guy who could read for that part, and she wasn't finding anyone. So thankfully I stumbled onto it. But Mortal Kombat was a big surprise for me, because the first time I did a college after I did Mortal Kombat, I show up and the student introduces me. And just before he brings me on stage, he goes, "And he's the voice of Nightwolf in Mortal Kombat." And the whole theater of college kids goes crazy.
How fun is that?
That's when I realized how big Mortal Kombat was in the video gaming world, man.
Well, that's amazing. That's nice that you're able to do stuff besides your acting. You're doing VOs. You're doing stand up, and as stand up comes back, at least you have some other stuff to do. But congratulations on your career. Congratulations on Mortal Kombat. And thank you for being on the show with us. We really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad my phone notified me to.
Yeah, us too.
Thank God. Well, thank you for being here, and we'll talk to you soon, Larry. Good luck, huh?
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Take care, Larry.
So Larry's an interesting guy.
Yeah, totally interesting guy. I mean, that's a perseverance.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Some people get into the business and they do what they want to do, and you get into it in your 20s, and he took a couple of years to get his act together, and then the act work, and he was a nice guy to Gabriel Iglesias, and Gabriel Iglesias returned the favor. And look, the Mortal Kombat thing is not too bad a gig.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
big.
Yeah.
So, well, congratulations to Larry. That was fun. That was a fun interview. I wanted to talk, before we go, guys, I wanted to talk about
ExtremeMusic.com.
I definitely want to talk about ExtremeMusic.com. You know what's interesting is that Mortal Kombat, the first movie, had amazing music in it. It was really driving and interesting. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, it was big in some scenes.
Yeah. Right? It was all action and all music. Anyway, I thought it was pretty interesting. I wonder if Extreme Music has that kind of music.
I'm sure they do.
Of course they do, yeah. Russ don't play like that.
Yeah, Russ don't play. You know how I met Extreme Music? Do you know how that came about? You don't. I'll tell you.
I like that. Ask me a question and answer it for me.
I'm going to tell you. I got hired to be the executive producer of Mexico's Next Top Model.
Yeah.
And when I went to work on it, they were like, "Oh, by the way, this is your music library." And they handed me the information for Extreme Music and a login. I was like, okay. So I didn't know how that was going to work. So I jumped on and I created my account, and the editor was going to start working. And I went in and I was like, runway music, photo shoot music, I was thinking all of this driving sort of catwalk music is what I needed, right? Because you were going to cut to stuff and they're going to be in, photo. There was going to be a runway. There was going to be a photo shoot. There was going to be a challenge. Everything had to be driving and just kicking butt the whole time.
Yeah,
right.
So when I went to Extreme Music, I punched in, catwalk, driving music, fashion, and bunches of songs came out. And I would just sit there for hours and hours and just listen. And I'd listen to the beginnings. I'd listen to the end. I said, okay, halfway through these songs, sometimes they change and they pick up. So I would pick songs and say, okay, just go to 1 minute. At 1 minute, the song is going to pick up. So you could start the cue there. And I probably picked up 200 songs. And those 200 songs were the ones we used in every episode.
Really? Wow. Last night, Roberts, I had a Zoom with Cesar Vega.
Oh, Cesar Vega, the composer.
Yeah.
My cousin. Yeah, he's my cousin.
His setup's really cool down there.
Cesar Vega is doing the composing for
Made in Mexico,
which is 2 episodes ago we had the music supervisor Joel High.
Yep.
We had Rich Alarcon.
Yep.
We had Sammy Posner.
Yep.
And we all talked about this exact thing. And the net result is you hired Cesar to be your composer.
And we did a Zoom yesterday with me, Cesar, Sammy, and Joel, and we talked about Extreme, and he's familiar with it. What is that? Casa Mexico? You know why? Because it's in the taste.
It's in the taste. That's right. So what happened with the call? It was
great. I mean, he's excited. Super talented dude. Was showing us some of his stuff.
Did you watch the movie?
He did. He watched it a few times.
What do you think?
He liked it a lot.
Yeah.
And he had some questions, and obviously he wanted to do more like traditional Mexican stuff with the guitar. And I said, dude, have at it. Like,
really?
Yeah. He's like, hey, he's a super polite guy. He's like, I have some ideas. If you're interested, I would really, I think with I go, dude, yes, please do your thing.
What's really cool, he plays all kinds of different instruments, but his brother,
your cousin,
his brother Alex Vega, his brother Alex Vega is a world-class guitar player. So he can like jam like, Van Halen, or he can be like Spanish guitar. I mean, it's pretty amazing. He did stuff for Almaraz, and he sent me videos of them recording, and I was man, this guy's off the hook, man. They're so good. So congratulations. That's good. That's good news for you.
Yeah. But we're going to use a lot of Extreme. He knows about Extreme.
He does?
Yeah. Did you guys use it on your other projects?
I used it on everything I've ever done.
Yeah, but he was familiar with it.
Yeah. I should introduce him to Russ to compose music, especially Latin American type music for Extreme.
Why don't you do that? He's your cousin.
I'm gonna make sure we do that.
Look him up. He's your primo.
I'm gonna make sure we do that.
Don't
My
be
primo.
A dick. Why are you being a dick? Don't dick out.
Hey, how come we're using that language on the show?
Hey,
what's happening?
Primo.
But no, listen, Extreme Music for all your music needs, no matter what you're doing. I think you guys go there, check it out, and you'll find everything you're looking for. What I do want to talk about before we split, we don't have much time left. So what I was thinking about today is I went to my wife's office, to Anne's office, and I picked up her desk, and I picked up some chairs because they are downsizing. They're not getting rid of the company because they're doing a lot of shows, but they're downsizing now that everyone's working from home. So they're getting rid of offices. They got rid of hers. So I went to pick up her stuff, and one of her EIC came out. His name's Phil.
Explain what an EIC is.
An EIC is
charge of money.
Yeah, he's in charge of money on the show. So in other words, all budgets, everything is going through the EIC. Executive in charge of production.
Yep.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it is.
Executive in charge. I'm sorry. Executive in charge is what his job title is. Anyway, he came out and he said, hey, I wanted to say hello and meet you and, see you. And I said, oh, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. And he said, I'm working with your wife and she's so great and I just feel so lucky and she's working on these amazing projects. And, he kind of said a bunch of nice things. And then
you are lucky, by the way.
No, I agree. And then I looked at him and I said, you know what? My wife's amazing. She's a juggernaut. She's a creative person. And I said, and she is nice. She's a good person.
Yeah.
She's a great executive producer. And then he was like, yeah, you know what? That's the thing about her is that she's a nice person. She finds a way. She finds a way to speak to people like they're human beings.
Sure. Yep.
And it's just fun to be on her shows. And we kind of high-fived and talked about how great Anne was. And it was really nice for a moment to think about, hey, this business is not all filled with angry people screaming at you all the time.
Yeah.
So the question is, can you be in this business and be a producer, be a director, be a creator, and be a nice person?
I actually 100% think that, and you can be, and I think it's usually at the bottom is when you find the assholes, and it's as you work your way up through that, you got to, get some tough skin.
Yeah.
But no, I think when you get to the very top levels, pretty much everybody's really cool. People like to work with people who they can get along with. I don't care how talented you are.
But is it fear? Is it fear, David? Is it the unknown that makes people so angry? Like, what is it about working with people that are so angry that can't collaborate? I try to tell my kids all the time, look, it's a collaboration. It's a conversation. You have an idea.
Yeah.
If you have a bad idea, I'm not going to tell you it's a bad idea. I'm going to say like, hey, that's definitely a way to go. What do you think about this? Right. Mm-hmm. So best idea wins, I think, is our business, right?
Yeah. No. I've seen some directors who are very creative, and it seems like they're guarded with what they want to intake, so they're not the nicest people. But I've also seen people who are directors who are very creative, are the nicest, most personable people. So there's two different sides. Yeah.
Yeah. But look, at the end of the day, for like a director like that, I feel that you take it all in, and at the end of the day, you're gonna sit with your editor and say, "I want this."
Yeah.
So you don't have to be a dick to people and say, "No, that's stupid."
Yeah.
You can say, "Okay, I get that. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Okay, let's try it."
It could be in the zone also.
Yeah. And then once you see it you see it in front of you, you can go, "That didn't work." Or you know what? Sometimes shit works. Sometimes somebody will have a recommendation.
True.
You're like, nah, and then you do it and it works. In The Kiss, Ron Lee looked over at me, and he goes, because it didn't end the way the film ends a certain way, and I didn't have it written that way. And he goes, "Hear me out." You know how Ron Lee is. He goes, "Hear me out. I got an idea." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "What if Lou, who played the mob boss, what if when you go to kiss his daughter, he steps in between, and you kind of look at him like you're in fear, and he stares at you, and then he smiles and grabs you and kisses you?" And I was like, "So you want me to kiss another man?" And he was like, "Yeah." I go,
thank you.
"I think that's fucking brilliant. Let's do it." And it's funny. It was the.
You did it?
Yeah, I mean, dude, because at the end, it's. It's like, see, you know what?
Oh man!
Now we got to see this movie. People got to watch this.
No, this is The Kiss, the short film.
Right, people got to watch that. But you can put that on Amazon, and people can.
You can?
Yeah.
You can put short films on Amazon?
Yeah, dude.
You can rent them for $1.
What?
99 cents. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
much does it cost? Free?
Free.
Gratis?
You have.
I got to set up an account or something?
Yeah, you guys set up an account. And you can put it up there. There's ways of doing that. In fact, I think we were going to do that on the show one time. But yeah.
Oh, why don't we do La Femme Balloon?
And your movie, that'd be fun. But let's get back to what I was talking about, which is, can you be a nice person in this business and still be successful? And I think the answer is yes. And I think with experience comes that, we got in the car and I said, "Hey, Phil came down and said some really nice things about you." Then I said some really nice things about you. And I said, "You're a great executive producer, and you're great to your crews, and you're creative, and no one's ever wrong when it comes to your projects, but you still find a way to make great projects." And she was like, it's being straight. It's being honest about what's happening. She goes, "A lot of times I'm in a deal and someone's going to get a short end because they're not there, because they're not mentioned, or because no one's saying it's their idea or something like that." She goes, "And I always want to straighten that out before we get too far into a deal where someone gets left out."
Yeah.
Because it happens. Because so a lot of times projects start and there's a lot of upset because people didn't get their positioning properly, right? Because someone at the top didn't say, "Oh, wait, this was Davy Day's idea," or "Wait, this was Tootie's. Tootie brought us the project," or however you want to, whatever whatever musical chair you're in at that point.
Yeah.
And she was like, "And I just like to straighten all that stuff out ahead of time, so that no one's upset and everyone knows the score. If you want to walk away at some point, we're straight, so that when the show starts, there's none of that going on.
There's there's no gray area.
There's no ill feelings. Everyone's just moving forward and being creative, and everyone's happy or at least satisfied with whatever deal they got.
It's hard to find that integrity, and
it is really hard because people are shady as fuck.
And it's inspiring. It's inspiring to think that, hey, it's part of the reason I think it's important to tell people if you like an idea or don't like an idea.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to waste their time, and no one wants to go like, "Hey, I sent this idea over and I asked them about it, then never read it, and then I never heard anything about it." I love to tell people whether I'm reading it or I like it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because I think that also gives them an opportunity to either decide whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, or go somewhere else, right? Yeah. You don't always want to be, some people wait 6 months, 4 months, a year waiting for someone to answer. Well, no, it's with somebody. They're going to answer.
Not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, right?
You read Santana right away.
I did, and I gave you notes right away.
Yeah, and you liked it.
And I liked it, but we haven't moved forward with it. But we will. We
did. We took a meeting with the director and Mo, and but you can't mistake kindness for weakness. Like, I've seen Roberts on things have to, drop the hammer, and he does.
Yeah.
He's cool with everybody, and he's friendly, and he's Roberts, but then if something goes, something's not right, he'll speak up. And,
exactly.
And I'm sure Ann does the same. In fact, I've heard stories of Ann getting into it with people.
Yeah.
But she's cool and she's sweet and she's honest, and that's why she has integrity, and that's why you like her. But at the same time, if you try to cross her, I'm sure she's not just going to sit back, and that's what makes her an executive.
Well, that's the thing about being in the business. You have to be collaborative. You've got to be open. You've got to think that maybe your idea is not the best idea in the room. You got to you got to consider that's a possibility, and then you have to make sure that all your deals are straight with all of the people that you're working with, so that it's clear what's happening. And if someone doesn't want to do it that way, then they can step off.
Yeah.
Or if they decide that that's how they want to do it, they stay in the game and you move forward. But I think the answer is, if you're in the business and you want to work with people who treat you with respect, no matter what part of the business you're in, you can find those people. They're out there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a great show. I thought
pretty good. It's freezing out here.
Having Larry on was cool. You're cold, and we'll see you next time on Let's Get Into Entertainment.
The business of entertainment.
Freezing
Mr. Roberts.
Thanks, guys.
Freezing back
Appreciate
here.
it.
Doesn't get this cold in Beverly Hills.
The wait is over. New episodes of The Walking Dead Season 10 are premiering early February 21st on AMC+. Don't miss the extended 10th season featuring 6 new episodes, each focused on fan-favorite characters. Prepare for all new high-stakes showdowns and emotional reckonings by catching up on the latest season before new episodes drop. With season binges, exclusive content, and early access to new episodes, the best Walking Dead experience is only on AMC+. Get lost in the Walking Dead universe today. Available ad-free and on demand. Sign up at amcplus.com. AMC+. Only the good stuff.